Across the UK, online, on DAB, and on your smart speaker. Talk Radio.
A Japanese family in Kure City, Hiroshima, has been living with a crocodile for 40 years. Nobumitsu Murabayashi bought Keiman-san, his pet crocodile, from a pet store, after his young son begged him to. He never thought he'd become part of a family and still be with them nearly 40 years later. Now, we have to say that ownership of such creatures is illegal in the United Kingdom and most countries in the world, and quite rightly too. This dates back many decades, as we said at the top of the story. The domesticated crocodile measures just under 7 feet long, which is 6 foot 8 inches, weighs about 45 kilograms. He's a gentle giant. He would never hurt anyone, would Keiman-san. Well, they've had him for 40 years. They're all still alive and presumably not missing fingers, so I hear what they say. Phillip Jackson, our friend and our correspondent in Kyoto, Japan, has been following this story. He's online to us now. Philip, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks, Howard. How are you?
I'm fine. The last time we spoke, you were on your phone on the Skype in a park. Where are you today?
I'm in a park again, but a different park. I'm in a place called Utsubo Park in the center of Osaka. This park, I'm sitting in the Rose Garden, actually. Many years ago, for hundreds of years, this park was a fish market, and then after the war, it became an air base for the Americans. And then after occupation, they turned it into a huge park, and it's really nice now.
What time of day is it, by the way? In case my listener will be thinking, that what's this man doing in a park in the middle of the night?
Yeah, it's just gone 7 o'clock in the morning here, because we're 9 hours different.
All right. What about this family who've been living with a crocodile for 40 years? What's the media they're saying about this?
Well, I mean, it is a bizarre story, and it does pop up on the TV now and again. But as you mentioned in the news story, it dates back to 1981, 39 years ago. Nobumitsu Murabayashi, he bought a baby crocodile for his son from a pet shop. Now, pet shops in Japan are very different from the UK. You can buy so many things here. You can still buy crocodile. You can buy iguanas, fennec foxes, hedgehogs, pretty much anything you want you can get, as long as you've got the permits for it.
To my British ears, that sounds pretty awful, but I hear what you say.
I was quite shocked when I first saw it, but yeah, that's how it is. But this was in Kure City, Hiroshima. Hiroshima, as we know, is the home of the Hibagon, Japan's Bigfoot. Mm-hmm. And obviously the son has grown up and moved away, which has left Murabayashi and his wife at home with a 7 foot long, 45 kilogram crocodile, which he keeps it in a tank outside of his house, but apparently most of the day it spends inside his house. It comes crawling in, and he puts a harness on it and takes it round town, and he even takes it to local schools and lets the children ride on it and touch it. So it seems totally tame from all the news accounts.
Well, I have to say, though, from the pictures that I've seen of this thing, its mouth is replete with teeth. I would be terrified.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to get too near. But I mean, what makes it quite interesting is there is the connection between these stories and cryptozoology and folklore. I mean, going back to the 7th century, there's 2 reptilian snake-like cryptids in Japan, the Tsuchinko and Notzuchitokage, and the Tsuchinoko was described as a snake-like reptile that had a fat body that tapered off, a little bit like a crocodile, and some stories said it had 2 front legs and was said to vocalize with growls and squeaks and was heard to speak, telling lies to trick people. And the Notzuchitokage, it had an upper body like a lizard, a long body, prominent legs, and interestingly, it also had a head which was described very much like a crocodile. Now, in the 70s and 80s, there was quite a lot of sightings, which could well have been on the back of when the Hibagon was sighted. But in 1975 in Wakayama, which is south of Osaka, there was a report of a particularly large Notsuchitokage, which was described as about 5 feet long, looking very much like a land-roving alligator, it was described as. And in 1990, there was another sighting where they actually put a hunt together and offered about £25,000 to catch it, but they didn't find it. Now, what ties the two elements together is in 2008, a large crocodile was spotted in a river in Saitama, north of Tokyo. And in 2009, a 1.5 meter long crocodile was left at an animal shelter in Chiba, south of Tokyo, with a note saying, "His name is Jen. I have no money to support him." So it sounds to me like a lot of these sightings may well be exotic pets where owners have bought them, found they don't have the facilities, they don't have the money to take care of them.
Oh, how terrible. And that's almost like the big cat story in the UK. That's how the UK's got a lot of big cats. Yeah. Just quickly back to this family that's had a crocodile for 40 years. Has it been a harmonious and uneventful time for them? Have there been times when the crocodile has been going through hormonal changes or something, when it's been a little snappy?
Well, apparently it did bite the son many years ago, but the father decided to give it one more chance, and it never did again. I did read that he had to sign papers with the local authorities that if it does bite anybody, he has to accept full responsibility for it, which is a bit
it's unlikely the crocodile will take
really,
responsibility. Yes. Well, it's, it reminds me of those old TV programs that we used to see here with Clive James, of course, who used to report on the things that happen in Japan.
Yes,
this is another one, a fascinating story. And, one of the reasons I'm talking to you is I just love linking up with you. And you're talking to me from a park, and just like the last time, you got the birds singing in the background. Do they celebrate Christmas much in your bailiwick?
It's a little bit. I mean, it's more of a commercial element here. The children will get a visit from Santa and receive a present from Santa. But New Year is the big celebration. Lots of celebrations for New Year. Although this year, because of coronavirus, the government have advised people not to be travelling back to their hometowns. And some of the New Year festivals, which have people dressed as demons going into the households, have been restricted. They're not allowed to go into the houses this year. Just
like here, it's going to be a much truncated festive season. Please, you and your good lady, please take care, and let's hope for a prosperous and a very happy 2021 for you in Japan. Yes. Philip, thank you for talking with us.
Merry Christmas to you, Howard. Take care.
And the same back right at you. Phillip Jackson, British national, living in Japan, and our special correspondent. Been listening to The Unexplained for years. I had to do this story, partly to talk to Philip in the middle of a park in whichever part of Japan he happens to be, but also just the pictures that go with this story of this family living with this massive, betoothed beast are just astonishing.
Across the UK, online, on DAB, and on your smart speaker. Talk Radio.